Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. One thing that they're doing every week is the Tech Flex deal of the week. That's right. Each week they do a pre-made Tech Flex,
not Tex Flex. It's not Texas Flex. It's Technical Flex.
It's Tech Flex and cable color combination for a discounted price. This comes out every Tuesday. I think it's only on Tuesdays. Each week is a different thing, so I can't tell you what's up this week. I can't tell you what's up next week.
Yeah,
I can tell you
this is a cool thing that they do.
Go check out sinusoid.com on Tuesdays.
It's something to watch for. It's like the stupid deal of the day, but for a really cool Tech Flex cable. I think they started it with cables that had the Tech Flex that I use on my Sinusoid cables that has the cool like gray and white stripes.
Oh, and nice.
I just love that look. I hope I can have cables like that for the rest of my life. I mean, the two that I have a 100-year guarantee. Yeah. So I'm going to have those two the rest of my life. But if I ever need to have like a dozen or so cables, I hope that variety of Tech Flex is always around for me because I just love it so much. I got to say, it's like my signature look. And I think that's something fun you can do with Tech Flex is you can combine the Tech Flex with the color of the cable underneath to come up with new combinations. And it's really easy to come up with like your own signature look if you're ordering bespoke, I guess. But the Sinusoid team puts together really cool looking stuff for the Tech Flex of the week. So go check that out.
Yeah, sinusoid.com. Sinusoid cables. They make cables.
And smiles.
This episode is also sponsored by Gun Street Wiring Shop. Gun Street is a real small, cool company.
We've got a script from them. We're not not a script, but like hey, here's the talking parts.
No, but
so Steve is trying to read and improvise at the same time.
Yeah,
go for it, Steve.
We checked out their site. They got some cool stuff over there. They seem like they're really focused on working with individuals. So hit them up. They say Gun Street gives you the option to define your sound, whether you're looking for that vintage tone with a 50s style harness or something cool and fun with a phase or coil cut harness. Gun Street has something special for you. Head over to gunstreetwiringshop.com and let them know you were sent by Sookie Cycle Hum by using code CRAFTBEER at checkout.
Nice!
You get free shipping.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's a cool deal. Once again, that's gunstreetwiringshop.com.
So I looked around on their site for a while, and my thought was, what kind of guitar makes me the angriest when I try to wire it up? And it's definitely my SG. Like, I've just gone into swearing fits over that SG. And you wouldn't think it'd be so hard because you can open up the back and get to everything. You don't have to take the pick guard off like a Strat. But for whatever reason, whenever I'm working on my SG, it just turns me into a swear factory. So like, let's look at the builds that they have and the prices they have for SG harnesses. And they're all very like fair and competitive prices. I mean, if I was to do it myself, I'd end up spending like, I don't know, $20 in parts when it's all said and done.
And you'd probably burn yourself.
I'd probably burn myself, definitely a couple times. So their harnesses for SGs start at $50, and I think they max out around $80, depending on the options you go for. And next time I need to wire up the SG, I'm definitely going to hit them up and get a wiring harness because I just don't ever want to go down that road again. It's worth the price to have someone else do it and just ship it to me and just slap it in there and not have to worry about it. Just because there's 4 pots, there's a switch, there's a bunch of other components. I don't want to deal with it ever again. So that's my vote for Gun Street wiring harnesses or Gun Street guitars. Did I get the name wrong? What did I do, Steve?
You did it all wrong, dude.
I did it all wrong. I'm sorry.
Gunstreetwiringshop.com.
All right. Big thanks to those guys. Go check them out. They made this show possible. Hey, this is Ryan.
And this is Steve, and you're listening to Sookie Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, fixing.
Trading, fixing, modding, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
There we go.
We did a little bit of breaking earlier in the day, didn't we?
I broke a thing.
We broke a thing. We finally started to live up to that part of
I gotta
our
say,
intro.
that like the part of that I was doing was a lot of fun, But I was like, this is a lot of fun, but I can already see the comments that are like, oh, this guy sucks. Da, da, da. So like the reveal, I'm assuming the video will be up before
Oh yeah,
this,
I've
but,
already
like,
got them both up, I'm sure.
But so the reveal was like super worth it because that's the point where it's like, yeah, I missed a bunch of times, but I got the job done.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're talking about the Epiphone SL in the music area case. Steve had a day off of work, I guess. You didn't have to go into work today?
Yeah.
You didn't get fired, did you?
No, I worked 9 straight days, and on day 9, so I'm in the middle of a big project, and at the end of day 9, I was talking to my boss, and I was like, look, like, I like my team. I cannot deal with anybody else in this company right now. Like, I'm just like on edge, and like, so hopefully tomorrow's better, but I love my team, but everyone else, like, I just don't even want to talk to anyone. And she's like, the next 2 days are easy project days, right? I was like, yeah, it's still going, but it's easy. And she's like, okay, take the next 2 days off because I start back tomorrow, which is Friday.
Okay.
And I'll work another like 8 straight days.
Damn, dude. Working hard for the money.
So all in all, I originally planned to work like basically like 19 straight days. And they were just like, no, you if you come to work like at the end of the day, my boss was like, if you come to work tomorrow, I'm going to be super mad at you.
Damn.
I'm like, okay, I'll stay home.
So yeah, you got to come and have some fun beating up the SL in the case. We're recording midday on a Thursday. This is fun. I feel like I'm playing hooky from work too, because usually I work a full day and then we podcast afterwards. So
yeah, this episode's brought to you by Chimay Grand Reserve Ale. I believe this is Chimay. I'm not sure if this is Chimay Blue or Chimay Gold.
It's got both colors on the label.
Yeah, but it's an authentic Trappist product. I think that means that the people who make this also buy and sell furs.
I don't usually...
Or collect and sell furs.
I don't usually drink Chimay. I'm usually just like, I don't really... It's
that's
good,
what
but it's
that's
not
what
my
a Trappist
thing.
is, right?
Yeah. I don't really buy... I get your joke, Steve.
Okay,
it's
good.
a trapping joke.
That's not what a Trappist is.
No, it's not. It's a monk.
It's a monk. It's a
They might
monastery
trap
thing.
things in a monkly way, but I don't usually buy Chimay, and I got to say I really enjoyed this one. I think I might want to go buy another bottle for myself.
Chimay's really good.
Really nice flavor
They
to
are
it.
Chimay, and there's a handful of Belgian. So Chimay, Saint Bernardus. Though Chimay is authentic Trappist. I think Duvel is also authentic Trappist. Saint Bernardus is like using a Trappist recipe, but it's not actually made by monks anymore.
You want that good monk flavor.
So those are like the three main, the three ones that you can find like everywhere. There's a few others, and I mean you can always find Belgian styles.
Yeah.
But if you really want that authentic, like made in Belgium, Belgian stuff, like that's what you got to go for.
Yeah. I really liked the flavor. I thought it was really nice and smooth. There was a little bit of like a high alcohol quality to it.
Yeah.
But it was like the kind where you enjoy it, where it's like it warms up your sinuses a little bit.
I made some beer mimosas with it, but it's like a dark brown, so it looked like vomit, but it tasted awesome.
I made a very small one. I was like, I just want to drink this beer by itself, but I put some orange juice in with a little of the beer, and it was a delightful flavor.
Yeah.
I like beer mimosas. I'm glad we did that today. It was a good time of the day to do it, too.
Oh, yeah. You could not do this at night.
No.
Hey, Ryan, what's new?
I got 2 guitars in since we last recorded. I was not expecting to get 2 guitars in. I ordered that Squier, the contemporary Telecaster HH off of Sweetwater right after we got back from Winter NAMM.
Yeah.
And it finally arrived, and I'm very happy with it. I think it's a great playing guitar. You got to play with it a little bit earlier, and you said, oh, I think you should lower the saddles on this. I didn't even consider that because it already plays really fast, but it could definitely even play faster.
Yeah. Honestly, like I feel like I have that thought more with your guitars than with mine. And I think it's just because I don't really adjust the straps when I pick up your guitars. So the way your guitars sit on my body, I feel like the action needs to be lower. But I tend to hold my guitars higher, so I have more of like a vertical interaction with them. In which case, like I don't necessarily have the
Steve has
strings
more
as
of
high.
a vertical interaction than
Right.
I do.
I do. It's true.
Yeah, I'm just really happy with it. I did a demo and a review video of it. Go check that out on YouTube. And I got another guitar in that was a complete surprise to me. Well,
Yeah.
not complete, but I'm going to say like 97% surprise. I wrote Danelectro because I couldn't find their 59 XT model anywhere online for sale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's released yet. So I wrote them, said, hey, I really enjoyed this guitar at NAMM. I'd love to do a demo of it when you have demo models out. And I included my address in the email. They didn't write back. They didn't send any correspondence or communication with me. The guitar just showed up at my door as a surprise. I had no idea it was arriving. They sent me the 59X model, which is the hardtail model. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know if I'm even keeping this thing. Like, there was no communication, like I said. So for all I know, they're going to send me return shipping when I'm done, and it'll be gone. I'm fine with that. I'm also fine with keeping it, whatever they want to do. But I've been having a bunch of fun playing with it. It's really funky. It has just this total Danelectro vibe to it, but it has that humbucker lipstick pickup in the bridge and a P90 style pickup in the neck, which gives you a wide range of tonal possibilities, especially with the coil split on the humbucker. So I'm going to be doing a video of that this week, I'm hoping. I hope I have time to do that video. I'm looking forward to showing it off and showing off all the features of it. You got to play with that one a little bit too, Steve. What did you think?
Oh, it's fun. The neck was took it a little adjusting to.
It's a really different
small
neck. It's a small neck, but it feels long to me.
Yeah. But once I got used to it, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah. Really interesting shape on the back of the neck, too. I've never owned a Danelectro before, so I don't know if this is standard, but it has a very definite C shape at the nut. Mm-hmm. And then it blends to a very obvious D shape at the heel.
Right.
The difference between shape from the nut to the heel is pretty incredible. And you think it would be weird, but the way that your hand shifts position from the nut to the heel, it makes sense because the angle of your hand changes and your thumb is more present down at the heel than it is up at the cowboy cord area. So
right.
It's been a really interesting experience for me getting to play that guitar and have fun with it. And I'm really looking forward to showing it off. Do you have anything new, Steve?
I brought the Fendler out of the closet.
Yeah, you did.
You know where there's probably some fuses that would work?
Where?
In those acoustics.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to sacrifice the acoustic fuses.
It's just a fuse.
Okay.
You're not using both of those.
Well,
amps.
maybe we'll plug it in after this episode and see if we can get it to work. But yeah, you brought it over here. Now it'll live in my garage instead of your closet.
Yeah.
Is I guess the plan.
I guess.
And we'll put fuses in it and see if we can get it to work. Or maybe it'll just make a bunch of smoke.
Who knows?
Or do nothing at all.
I think I think with the fuse it'll power on, but we're still not going to get a sound.
This was my first time seeing it in person.
I thought I brought it over before.
No. It is in rough shape, dude.
Yeah.
This thing looks like it was left in a dryer overnight.
It was in better shape before I bought it, and with shipping there were a bunch it just showed up. A tube had shattered, and I think some other stuff broke, but I got off of eBay, and I just didn't really want to deal with any of that.
So this amp is the stuff of legend by this time because you bought it, a year and a half ago or something like that?
At least.
It's been a long time, and everyone's like, where's the Fendler? Where's the Fendler? So now it's at least out of the closet. It's over here. Maybe we'll have time to make it actually turn on, and if not, it'll just be furniture. I guess.
don't know.
Maybe
it's really cool looking. It's just
parts.
It's a big TLC project.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I think I'm $150 in on it, and I don't know what it would cost to get it fully not even restored, but just up and running.
If it's so far gone that you can't really do anything with it, what I would vote to do is to gut it and then be on the lookout for an amp kit project to house in it. Maybe a twin reverb.
Right.
Kit,
Yeah, I don't know. I think
because the chassis is just so freaking cool.
I think the chassis. I think the dimensions of the case are really off though. The cabinet is not a standard case.
I'm not talking about hard dropping a finished chassis in there. I'm talking about figuring out how to mount the guts in there, and then you're gonna have to wire each pot to the front.
Oh, I see what you're
So
saying.
it'd be a lot of extra work, but I think it would be worth it.
You're saying like, yeah, so you're saying like drop an amp in there, but then like,
because
what do
none
they
of the
call it?
knobs
Like,
are going to line up. You know,
not free wire, but
Right.
I was thinking of like you have like a full chassis with faceplate, and you're just dropping it in there.
No.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I want to keep that faceplate. It's just so wild looking.
That's just that 70s Fender solid state
I know.
faceplate.
But it's cool. And it's got such cool graphics on it.
Yeah, no, it's rad.
Yeah. Anything new you want to talk about?
That's it.
All right, let's get into some ads.
Ads.
Let's dust off the old podcast machine and get into it. So this first one was your selection for the first
Yeah,
ad.
this was sent by Adzant. This is from a music go round, and this is a custom used Squier J5 Telecaster electric guitar with custom graphics. This guy, all I can say is he loves gold.
He loves gold. He's from Holland. Isn't that weird?
It's $360 on Music Go Round. I don't know what these were originally finished in. All I know is this is a lot of gold.
It's a lot of gold, and there's things about it that are like sticking out to me, like what is actually going on with this guitar.
Like I don't understand what's going on with this headstock.
Yeah.
It's set up to be like a matching headstock.
Was this factory?
I don't think
this
so.
It cannot be a factory finish. There's no way. It just looks off in some way.
Yeah.
And the silver lettering of the logo on the gold headstock is really bizarre. Really bizarre decision there. And then what is going on the back of the headstock? It's got your normal Fender crafted in China. Well, it says designed and backed by Fender, crafted in China. And then there's a serial number sticker on it.
Yeah.
I've never seen a serial number sticker on a Fender or a Squier. So that's like throwing up major red flags to me. Is that throwing up red flags to you?
Yeah, I don't like it. So I'm looking at pictures though, and there is a frost gold version of this. I don't know if that's what this is.
Show me.
That has like a silver. I don't think this is the same.
Oh, it has the toggle switch up here too.
Yeah. And if you look at the headstock is silver script.
Okay, I think that's what this is then. That's a Squier?
Yeah.
I think it's just a different kind of like photography light, and he put, because part of what was catching my eye, and it even has the gold hardware on it.
Yeah.
What was catching my eye on this is that the pick guard doesn't match with the bridge. This guy put a different pick guard on here.
Right.
Same pickups, I'm assuming, because they're black pickups on the original one. But originally there was some sort of champagne colored or maybe a mirror reflective, which would have been even more gold on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pick guard. And he put some sort of standard Telecaster black pick guard on here that doesn't match up with the humbucker Telecaster bridge.
One of the things that always drove me crazy with Music Go Round is that the descriptions tend to be like minimal, if anything.
What is that the picture from Music Go Round? The one that you pulled up with the
No, that was
reflective?
from Musician's Friend.
What is Music Go Round?
It's like a used emporium kind of a thing.
So it's not like weird like import stuff?
No, the more I look at this, like I feel like this is like somebody trying to do that gold thing but not executing it.
Do they have on Musician's Friend or whatever? Do they have a picture of the back of the headstock?
No,
with that sticker.
No. I'm looking to see if I can find something similar to that, just generically online, but they do not have a picture of the back.
What was
of the
the price on Musician's Friend?
$450.
Okay, so this is a used price for this, if this is the legitimate deal, which I think it is. I think the body and everything but the pick guard is original on this. That pick guard is just kind of off-putting to me, the way the line is against the bridge. And what's funny is if it didn't have the cutout for a normal Telecaster bridge, it would look really sharp to have it just be a flat line against that bridge. It lines up perfectly for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm looking at
look at the pictures look at the pictures on our imager in the show description, the show notes.
I don't really understand what's going on with that serial number because I'm looking at like this is a serial number on like a stock image, and it's not normal for them to have stickers.
It's printed. So why is there a sticker on the back of this?
That sticker is also not like a standard.
It's a weird brown color.
It's not a standard Fender style serial number. Like it's just a number. It's not Fender serials are usually like a letter number combo.
It's so bizarre.
So I don't know exactly
That
what's going on
throws
with
up
that
some
either.
big flags, but then the rest of this looks fine.
Yeah.
Can you pull up the front of the headstock? Like, show me the front of the headstock there. Is the truss?
The truss is painted.
I guess it does look. It's not going to let me zoom in on that. Yeah, I guess the truss looks about right. The gap looks right between the bridge and the, the nut and the rest of the neck. I don't know. There's just something about this that's giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I need to see it in store.
Yeah.
There's something about, I don't know.
I mean, if you like that model, this thing is $100 off, but you're missing that original pick guard that was made to go with this. So I think that is a bummer.
Yeah.
I think the original pick guard, even though it is more gold, and that's a lot of gold, I think the cut on it belongs with this guitar.
Great.
Right, do we want to tackle the topic?
Yeah, this first topic was also sent by Adzant.
It's a double Adzant.
We kind of simplified it down. Basically, the idea is like if you could build a pedal board all from one brand of pedals, what would that pedal board look like, and how many pedals would you need? Like, if you're doing a mini board or like a medium-sized board. Or
well, the
whatever.
original question was like build 2 boards, one with this many pedals, one with this many pedals, and one of the pedals has to be all Boss. And we were like, let's simplify this a little bit. We don't have all day to record this episode. So we're doing build one board for yourself with only one brand on it. Do you want to start, Steve?
I kind of do, but
I kind of want you to start too, because I haven't even thought about this yet. You got to the way to attack this is you got to think about what pedals are key for you.
Yeah.
And what brand do they come from? And do you compromise the rest of your pedals to have that one brand, to have that key piece, you know?
I think there's a few different brands that I could do an entire board off of. For a while, I thought about doing, I was trying to do an all Friday Club board.
Uh-huh.
And I think I could have done it, but I just kind of lost steam on buying pedals because money.
Yeah.
I would consider doing a all Matthews effects board, but I don't think there's like a standard delay in his lineup. Is there?
In Matthews?
Yeah. Aren't they both the Cosmonaut and the Astronomer both
those are
reverbs?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a delay.
I mean,
so that
an all
kind of
Matthews board would sound pretty good, but I can't remember if there's a delay.
that kind of shorts me out there a little, which is too bad.
Matthews, come out with a delay. Maybe you have already, and we just have bad memories.
No, I'm looking at a site right now. I'm not seeing anything. So, the more I think about it, the more I think about what delays I have and what else is out there. I think I could do an all Alexander board.
The Surgeon.
The Surgeon,
that's a delay.
Why did I not see that on his website right now?
Did he discontinue it?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I thought I saw it pretty recently, to be honest.
Maybe he just doesn't have it in production right now. He's got a featured collection up front on his website. Store. I'm not seeing delay in the list is the
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. I didn't see it on there either. Because that would definitely be, if I could build all, that would be an easy one to do it off of.
Well, you just have to pick up a Surgeon used.
Yep. There we go.
Yep.
So in that case, if I was going all Matthews, the choices here are fairly limited. You just get one of everything.
Yeah, just one of everything.
But I mean, you start with the Whaler Fuzz, which is a fantastic, wild sounding fuzz.
Everyone who gets experience with one of those is just like, I can't believe how crazy this fuzz is. Like, people just talk about it. I still haven't got to play around with one of them. I really need to try one out. Yeah. You think I should try it at NAMM every year? I guess this is the first year he had a booth. I just didn't get around to trying it.
So you got that. You got the Architect, which is the Klon style pedal. So that takes care of your overdrive needs. I guess there's not. And he's also got the Cartographer, which is a parametric overdrive. I think the Harbinger's also been discontinued.
Really?
So either the
I mean, you can pick the stuff
the
you
Whaler
use.
or picking up a Harbinger used would have to be like the heavy drive sound.
There's also the Engineer for you, the bass overdrive.
Right. The Chemist I've been super interested in picking up. I just haven't done it. I've been using the
You can cover a lot of bases with that short run of the Father that he did too.
Yeah.
Because that's like 3 modulations in one.
Is that what that is?
I think that's what
I
it
never
was.
looked at the Father.
Wasn't it like chorus, vibrato, and
No,
phaser
that's
or
the
something?
Chemist.
But he did one. What was in the Father?
I thought the Father was just another reverb. It was like a
No, I don't
different
think-
version.
Maybe I'm completely off.
The
You've been drinking the Chimay Mind Eraser over here.
Mind Eraser, Eraser IPA. That's a rough draft beer. The Father is the 2018 natural. What is it? It's supposed to be the best sounds from the Astronomer, Astronomer Gold, and Cosmonaut.
Oh, okay. So it's a reverb.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And people, geez, this one I just found was like $500.
What?
On Reverb? Yeah.
No,
people really tried to milk that.
Come on, people. Why would you buy that for $500 when you could buy a 50/50 for $5,550? I mean, come on.
But I've been looking at the Chemist because I've got the 7-Up on my board right now, and that thing's a ton of fun. But I'd like to get some other options because I don't use octave on every song, and having like a chorus vibrato phaser might be like some other options I would use on songs where I'm not using the octave. Past that, of course, like the Astronomer and Cosmonaut are both fantastic reverbs. The Cosmonaut being a modulated reverb and the Astronomer being a shimmer reverb. I think that would kind of cover everything that I do, because like when I think about my board right now, I've got I think one delay on there. I've pretty much been using the Kilobyte for all of my delay needs right now. And I've got 2 reverbs on there. I've got the Afterneath and the Golden Summer, and the Golden Summer has largely been just using it on the shimmer setting. And that shimmer setting, like, people love that sound as much as like I hear people say like, oh, shimmer's played out and like shimmer's done. Like,
well, anything can be played out if you make it like in the mix where it's bashing people over the head. If you use it correctly and use it subtly, like, you can use anything.
right. Well, I use it,
And that's really the key to shimmer, is to use it subtly.
I use it pretty extensively, so I don't know if it's just the Golden Summer.
Well, the Golden Summer sounds great
is
as it is
just
too.
more subtle than other reverbs that have it, or what. All I know is like I get compliments all the time. I have people come up and they're like, "What is that? What's going on? Whatever it is, like, don't stop doing it." So
Steve, don't stop. We love what you're doing.
So I will take it and I will keep using that. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid single company board to just go all Matthews effects. You got to dig up a couple things off eBay or Reverb or whatever, but if it works, it works.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say that I could easily go with an all walrus board if we're talking
You
about.
can even get your power supply from Walrus.
Yeah, if we were talking about like my church board. If it comes to like my surf rock board, things get a little bit more complicated because just like getting a good reverb sound is really tricky. And I love the Ventress. I just don't have experience with the rest of Source Audio's pedals, so I wouldn't be able to say like, oh, I could use drive and fuzz from them or something like that.
Right.
I'm sure delays would be just fine for me, but I know that I could use an all walrus board for my church set. I mean, they've got. I'm already just in love with the ARP 87 for delay. And the Fathom is fantastic reverb for church uses for like kind of that ambient, washy sort of sound. Like you said, I could even use a power supply from them. I love the Iron Horse version 2. I was using it the other day for that Squier demo that I did. It's just, I think I'll say it's hands down my favorite rat style pedal these days. The Monument tap tremolo has become my go-to tremolo. And then I'd really just be trying to pick a fuzz from them. Well, I guess I have the Contraband. I love the Contraband. It's so simple and easy to use, and it just sounds good.
Yeah.
They also have the Jupiter and a few other fuzzes, I think. Obviously, they have the Janus, which is one of their oldest pedals and still one of the weirdest pedals out there. But I think I need to pick some sort of light drive from them. The 385 is interesting, but I consider that more of like feeling like a tube screamer kind of roll when I use it. I don't have any experience with the Voyager.
I believe it's either, I forget I get the Voyager and the Mayflower confused. One of them is basically their clone clone.
Right, their clone clone. Yeah, there's also the Warhorn. They have a Warhorn. They have a bunch of overdrives I just haven't tried. So
there's the Messner. A lot of people love the Messner.
Yeah. And of course the Julia for modulation from them is fantastic. They have a compressor, which I'm sure I'd be totally fine with. I can easily say that the handful of Walrus pedals I have right now are already a permanent part of my board, and I would, compromise for these, drive pedals that I haven't used to keep the Walrus pedals that I do use, like as far as like the modulations and stuff go. And time modulated effects. So that's my vote. I could easily build a whole board just Walrus.
Cool.
Other than that, I mean, I could probably build a board from any company and use it effectively, but that's easily my first pick.
Yeah. It's tough. It's like you have your brands that you want to stick with, I guess, or that you have more experience with, and it's hard to have experience with everything. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like, what about this company? What about that company? But it's like, it's hard. It's like, someone could say like, oh, what about EHX? And it's like, well, I've played some of their, like I had the Stereo Memory Man with Azurai for a while. And that thing was a little like too much and it was weird. I had trouble dialing in like basic sounds. I could do lots of wacky stuff.
EHX has me for delays and for fuzz and for weird modulations. Reverb and overdrive, I can't think of anything from EHX that tickles my fancy.
Their reverb is the Holy Grail series. Overdrives, they have a few. They have they have the Crayon, they have the Soul Food, they have the hot wax.
None of those really do it for me though. The one overdrive that I like from EHX was the overdrive side on the Germanium Big Muff. But I didn't like it enough just to keep that pedal just for the overdrive, and the overdrive was very subtle and slight. Like it was more of like a presence booster,
right?
And kind of like a little bit of a dirty filter to it.
The overdrive from them that was really hot for like 6 months, and then people stopped talking about it because I think other trendy things happened. Is the OD glove?
Yeah,
but then I've also heard that is just
an
OCD.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what I'm really looking for is something that fills the place of the 250 or the 5050,
right?
Like kind of light, gritty, like barely there drive.
I mean, if Pelican Noiseworks had like a delay and a reverb, you could just do a whole Pelican Noiseworks board.
Yeah, I mean, I could get by without reverb for my church board if I stack delays. Stacking the same delay. You give me 2 ARP 87s, and that's all like the time modulation I need. Or give me 2 DD3s, and I can do similar stuff too.
Right.
Just do a really tight kind of bouncy delay and then a long delay after it. I'm getting all the time modulation I need for church. So that's what I got. You have anything else to add to it?
Nope.
Let's move on to the next ad. You want to do housekeeping?
Housekeeping. Big thanks. We got picked up a couple new pledgers this week. First one is James Thurman, who pledged at the $1 level on our Patreon, patreon.com/Sookie Cycle Humcast, I believe is the link.
Those $1 pledges. I'm not being facetious. I legitimately love them. I think I want to see just a ton of $1 pledges this year. That's my goal. It's great having people join the inner circle at the $10 level, but I love those $1 pledges. I think it's just fantastic when people do that.
Yeah, our other pledge this week at the inner circle level of $10 is Andy Kim, Mr. Sinusoid himself.
Ain't no party like a sinusoid party.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Super cool to have Andy in the inner circle now.
How do you know there ain't no party like a sinusoid party? Because I don't remember any of them.
I know, right? That's how I know there's no party like them, because I remember all the other parties. sinusoid parties are just like a big glorious blur in my head. And like, I think that was fun. I think I had a good time. I woke up with a smile on my face.
The real problem with sinusoid parties at like NAMM is that they set up parties with like us and our friends. So we just end up stacking parties. And unlike Overdrive,
man.
stacking parties isn't like the greatest idea for your personal health.
Well, it's a good way to get a really big party going real quick.
That's true.
But it's a bunch of fun to have Andy in the inner circle. There's already a bunch of people in there who love hanging out with him and love hanging out with us.
Yeah.
So it just makes the party even bigger.
And of course, Ryan's goal this year is to get a bunch of $1 pledges, but we also still have all 25 spots in our super elite bragging rights level.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about this already.
On the Patreon, so go check that out. Again,
are you telling me that no one has grabbed onto this no rewards, like just pissing contest level, where you're really just spending money just to show off?
Yeah, no one's done that yet.
One day it's going to happen. You're going to sell all those slots, and you'll be like, "See, Ryan, I told you this was a good idea."
Like 2 months ago, I heard that our economy was at an all-time high, so I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah. This is the presidential level. All right, let's jump on to the next ad now. This was sent to us
By Bob Crosley.
Yep, this is a speaker cab. It is a Fender Tweed Deluxe cabinet shell from the late 50s, so it's vintage. That means it's worth more, obviously. Only $389 plus $35 shipping on reverb.com. Do you see anything wrong with this? Or is this a good buy?
I mean, how do you even verify what this is?
That shows you where this kind of lives. How do you even verify what it is? It's an empty box that looks like it survived a fire or a flood, maybe both. Like it caught on fire and then someone put the fire out with a flood. And then they stripped off all the tweed. There's no baffle in it and no speaker in it and no other hardware. It's just the wood and the nails and the glue holding it together.
There's some old tweed inside the case.
There's about like 1.5 feet of tweed scraps. This is the roughest shape I've ever seen a cab in.
Cleaning out the back of the shop, late 50s Tweed Deluxe cabinet. Looks like it may have been in a flood at one point. Looks as though someone re-glued the finger joints and did not get them perfectly square.
Oh, no kidding, huh?
You may want to sand it smooth or take apart and re-glue it correctly. Cabinet is in poor condition. Some of the tweed is included and it's very dirty. Back panel is delaminating. Top of the front panel has delaminated also, sold as is. Please check all photos for condition. I don't know, man.
Do you think this is, I mean, considering its age and that it's technically a vintage Fender Tweed Deluxe cabinet that you could build an amp into, do you think this price is anywhere near fair?
No. I just can't, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, there's a point to be made like, oh, this is really aged wood at this point. Maybe there's a sonic quality to completely aged wood. But this thing doesn't even look structurally sound to me.
No.
It's going to take a 1/2 gallon of glue to hold this thing together. So does the wood even matter if you're introducing that much, a liquid binding material of some sort of epoxy or something like that?
I mean, so
this is the sort of thing you don't sell this. You give this to someone who is an amp builder.
Yeah, I think the starting problem is that something like this new, so this is like part of a $4,300 amp. Like that's what this amp would be, is around like 4K.
Right.
If this is, hold on, which model is this? I'm not exactly, they don't really sell. They say late 50s. So yeah, late 50s is like maybe 4,000 or so. If it was early 50s, it'd be like 3,500.
10% of the value of that?
No, because it doesn't have an amp. One. So now, like, now you have to find like the actual amp, because this only has value if it's a complete set. I guess you could get away with like refinishing it and whatever else if you just happen to have like a bunch of tweed laying around. Maybe if you were like some kind of one-off amp builder, you might be able to pitch this as like some kind of relic project,
right?
To be like, oh, I built this kit deluxe, and I got a period correct cab to drop it in. My normal model is, you know, $500 because I make these in my garage. But for this one with this special cab, it's going to be like $800.
Well, you got
That's
to
the only
do
way
a
it's worth it.
hell of a refurbished job
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
And I think the angle on this is not to re-wrap it with tweed, is to get this thing pushed together as best you can and get it structurally intact,
And then clear coat it.
and then clear coat it and leave the look that it has, like show it off a little bit, because it's just in just desperate condition.
No, I like it.
That is kind of has, it's a high character sort of thing.
I see. So the thing is he talks about how like the finger joints weren't properly glued back
I think
together.
they're swollen out of alignment.
I agree. That's what I think as well. And my problem is I see that, and like my gut is to take like a rubber mallet and try to like see if it'll bang back into place.
Man, I don't know.
But I think I would just end up shattering the entire
I think things will fall apart if you do
cabinet.
that. I think you leave those rough bits. You glue down the stuff that looks like it's falling off, like the front bit and the top bit that are kind of coming loose.
Yeah.
Like you just secure this thing and get it like clear coated so it stays together with that clear coat, I guess. Obviously you have to make a baffle for it. And then you load some sort of amp in there, and I don't think you sell it at all. I think you keep it as a conversation piece.
Maybe.
This is the sort of thing, like if I had this in my garage, I would take it to Adam at Satellite Amps and be like, I'm giving this to you.
Right.
And I just want to see pictures if you do something cool with it.
Right.
Because this is not salvageable as
just gonna put
a sellable product.
It's just going to put not the Gamatron. They just came out
Sure.
with another amp that's like the one size up from the Gam. I don't know if it's new, but it's a new to me model.
Or even like turn this just into a speaker cab.
Right.
I think that would be the best move. Turn it just into a speaker cab, secure all this loose wood that's rotting off of it, give it a clear coat just to give it a little bit of a shine. And yeah, I think that's all you can hope for this thing. Its value is completely gone. It'd be one thing if there was a story. Like this guy doesn't even have a story. He just says it looks like it was in a flood. Like,
yeah.
Make up a story, dude. Tell us it was in,
it's
like the recent like Texas floods.
He also says it was like he's clearing out the
Tell me it was in a flood and you watched it like floating down the street and you jumped in your boat and paddled after it to rescue it.
Well, it's a little
Make up
confusing
story.
too, because it says cleaning out the back of the shop, blah blah blah, looks like it was in a flood. So it's like how
What
long
shop?
how long has it been in your shop?
Yeah, what are you talking
It's
about?
your shop. So like
Tell
what's
us a
going
story.
on?
Stories are like a big part of the sale, dude. Just tell us a story so that we can get excited about it. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, this next topic was sent by somebody.
I think it was sent by a couple people, honestly.
Yeah, it's just kind of been a popular comment right now. Matt Chittum posted an article about it. Some other people asked us to talk about it, which is that in the past week or so, Clifton Worley asked us to talk about it too, from the Clifton Worley show.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in the last week or so, Heritage Guitars fired 10 of their craftsmen, and another 4 just were like, oh, you're going to fire those guys? Well, we quit too.
Right.
And basically, this is all kind of a back and forth struggle between Heritage Guitars labor force and their new corporate overlords at BandLab, which
BandLab owns a bunch of companies.
Yeah, BandLab owns Mono and Tysco, Harmony, Heritage. I forget. I'm sure there's others we're forgetting. And we met up with the BandLab folks at NAMM, and they seem like pretty cool. But obviously, that's the sales, sales and technical people. That's not necessarily like the corporate force that's counting dollars and trying to make sense out of it all. So basically, from a couple different pieces I was reading, is BandLab released a statement saying that the way that Heritage was structured wasn't like financially viable for long term, and that the changes that BandLab is making is going to is supposed to like set them up for the long term. But Heritage is basically the people who got fired or left came out with a counter statement saying that the new management doesn't understand really what heritage stands for, and the broader picture is that heritage has always made everything by hand.
Well, let's talk about the history of heritage a little
Sure.
bit. Like, I don't know like a full point by point history, but this is my understanding of it. When Gibson sold or abandoned the Kalamazoo factory, whatever happened,
Yeah.
the people who worked there, a group of the people who worked at the original Gibson Kalamazoo factory, were like, we're not going to leave.
Yeah.
We're going to stay here in this building, and we're going to keep building guitars the way that we like to build guitars, the old way that Gibson used to do it. And they became the Heritage brand, and they've continued to keep building guitars that way.
Yeah, and Heritage has existed since, I think that happened in like the late 70s or early 80s.
Somewhere around there. I think it's early 70s, honestly. But anytime something's going down with Gibson and it's like, oh, Les Pauls suck now, like, thanks a lot, Gibson. In the back of my head, I'm always like, well, there's still Heritage.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit upsetting, even though I was never going to buy one, honestly, because this is not the style of guitar I'm into, and it's not the price point I'm into. It's a little unsettling to hear that, you know, there's trouble over there, and that maybe the way that they build guitars is changing. And I realize that the way they build guitars isn't viable as a modern business.
Well,
but it's like they've always been priced at a way to accommodate that.
I don't even know if it's not that it's not viable as a modern business. It's not viable from like a corporate standpoint.
Right.
Of maximizing profits through mass production.
I mean, when a corporation buys a guitar company, they're like, we want to turn this into like a flagship brand and put it in all the stores.
Right.
And like, you know, have direct sales and this and that. We want to grow this investment. And that's really not what Heritage is. Heritage is a bunch of people who love working on guitars, building the guitars the way they think they're supposed to be built in the numbers that make sense for that style of building.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit unsettling to think about that things are changing over there.
One of the other things that went along with this is that Heritage, the new corporate people at Heritage, partnered with Rolling Stone to turn the Kalamazoo factory into like a museum. And a lot of people were coming out and saying like, well, that's all fine and dandy because it is like a destination spot being like the original Gibson factory and everything. But one of the issues in that as well is that along with that, they brought in, again, all of this new technology that is for modern guitar making. And a number of like purists looked at that and said like, why would I want to go to a museum where I can't watch like things being made the way that like the company made them for like 30, 40 years of their existence? Like, am I just going to be seeing pictures? Am I just going to be seeing like old equipment like in a room, but nobody's operating it?
Yeah.
Like while everything else is just being like cut by CNCs.
And just the thought of Rolling Stone being attached to any guitar builder is kind of like gross. It's like, you guys are already like, you don't matter anymore. Like, who cares about Rolling Stone? Like, they have no influence on the political. Not political. They don't have any influence on the musical climate. Like, what I was trying to get at is that they're more of like a political magazine now.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about Rolling Stone at this point? Who cares at all? Like, have you ever bought a Rolling Stone magazine?
Well, I don't even know when the last time I bought a magazine was.
Yeah, like when I used to buy magazines, I never bought a Rolling Stone magazine. I'm 36. Like, what is the age group of people who still care about Rolling Stone and still think that it's, you know, like it means anything?
Yeah.
Like, I get that Rolling Stone was big in the 60s and the 70s and even the 80s, like because it was a music culture magazine. There's no reason for it now.
I've read, you know, I won't say that there's zero reason for it. I think they've shifted, like you said, like to be kind of a semi countercultural, political piece. So in a sense, like it's like they're trying to maintain like this rock. I mean,
do we even
aesthetic.
Know? Do we even read? I don't read Rolling Stone.
I'll catch a Rolling Stone article online every here and there.
Sure.
So every, you know, And sometimes like they've actually been involved in a few controversies where like their articles were super like off base.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think bigger picture is like it feels kind of weird when like a even just a publication of some sort is involved in setting up a museum. It's like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
why isn't like why isn't like some kind of historical foundation? And I don't know. I don't know the details of
Right.
how they set that up, but it all feels a little bit like I always wonder with these kinds of things like if the issue is less that these things are happening and the issue is more that these things are happening too quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think this acquisition, whatever, it all happened in like the last 6 months or less. Um, so in turn, there's always that kind of issues. Like so, like my company, for example, we've brought in people as bosses who literally burned out in like 6 months as bosses
Right.
because they come in with a bunch of ideas and they don't actually take any time to learn what the process looks like and why it looks that way and what kind of like politics they need to navigate in order to make changes. Now, in the case of like a full corporate buyout, like at Heritage, the bosses have the leverage to like just do whatever they want because they're writing the checks.
Yeah.
But even then, like you have to understand like what is it that makes these employees actually tick, like, and what can we do to retain like what makes this type of branding or this brand special?
Yeah.
Like, what is really the angle here? And if you go in and just replace everything with automation, you are losing some of what that human value is. Um, and it's even less than human value. It's just misunderstanding what the brand is supposed to represent or as
Yeah.
traditionally represented.
And I think you'll agree with me, Steve, when I say that you and I are not against like CNC machines
No,
and like modern techniques and things like that. But the way that Heritage has built their guitars and run themselves as a company is so clearly like not that. It is the loss of their brand identity to go
right,
outside of that.
right.
And I think there's ways that they could slowly incorporate that sort of stuff and be like, oh, here's our new like modern line that maybe is a different price point, and these are based on CNC technology, and here's our regular line that's still hand built, and guys with rusty old hand tools
Hmm.
just carving out guitars, in the way they always have. There's ways to do that. It sounds like because there was a counter article that came out where the fired employees were giving their side, and it sounded like they were saying that they had to throw away like 300 guitars or something like that
Yeah,
because there was major quality control issues from using the new machines because no one knew how to use them or something like that.
right, right. And I don't even know how much of it was from using the new machines versus how much of it was because they brought in. So I think the two machines they brought in were Plex,
Okay.
and they brought in Plek machines and CNCs. Those were the two types of machines. And CNCs is just it's automated routing and
Right,
stuff
right.
like that. So I don't know how many of those QA or QC discards were from the machines versus how much of it was just like that things that used to be intolerance at like a very high standard
Mm-hmm.
were falling out of tolerance because the employees were being pushed to crank out like product faster than they could.
Sure.
And I mean like the new heritage owners released a statement that like we want to retain the focus on quality over quantity and da 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 da. But it just seems like you know when the clapback from the heritage people who left was that like the expectation of 100% like quality is not possible, and that
Right.
basically these people just don't understand like what real quality control needs to look like for this type of guitar manufacturing process.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it develops. I hope that Heritage gets all their stuff figured out, and I hope that the owners have, you know, an understanding ear to the employees that understand the Heritage brand and understand the direction of the Heritage brand, because it'll be a big shame if Heritage ceases to be what they have been. They've been, a tent pole in the guitar community for a long time now. Do we want to tackle the last ad and get the heck out of here?
Let's do it.
All right, this one is the first in our drive here.
Yep.
In our Google Drive.
It was sent by Paul Pennington.
It is really just the only... There's no picture except for the headstock.
That's because all it is a neck.
It's just a neck, and it's funny that they call it a neck because it looks like a foot.
Yeah.
It's a completely different part of the body. It doesn't look like a neck at all. The headstock is in the shape of a foot with really long toes. And I'm not saying a hand, it's a foot. What do you even make of this? What do you do with this? Like, what is the concept? Is there a description?
Yeah, it says, now this has to be one of the most unique things I've ever seen. It's a 25.5-inch scale Stratocaster replacement neck with a foot headstock. Seems to be a very professional made neck and has Grover tuners installed. From my understanding, it was made from a custom luthier sometime in the early 90s. Neck is in great condition. It has been very lightly used, but has little to no fret wear. So they're asking $399 for this.
No.
Yeah.
No. I would $75 this all day long for the fun of it. I have no idea what guitar I would put it on.
What's the most
I would play this.
What's the most you would do for this?
I just told you 75.
That's your max?
That's my max. I would not, unless I had like, I've got this project and it really needs a foot on the headstock. Unless I had that thought where it's like I just have to buy what's available, then like on a whim, this is $75 max. It doesn't matter how good the neck is. It doesn't matter how well the frets were done. It's just too weird? It's just too weird. It's just too weird. I mean, technically, someone could buy this and they could trim off the end and it would just be kind of like a seagull headstock shape. Seagull, the brand, not the animal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that level of funkiness, that's just too weird. What would you pay? What's your max?
I don't know. I think I would maybe go a little higher, like 150, because it is a neck, and if it was like decently built and it comes with tuners. But that's assuming like it's like very like made to like Fender USA standards.
Nah, I think it loses dollar value just because it's so weird.
Just because it's a foot.
I love weird, so take it for what it is. I think the execution of the foot is pretty cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it needs some sort of brand name on it to complete the look, like underneath the foot. I also feel like a foot headstock would look better on a bass. How do you feel about that? Do we need a matching foot, bass, and guitar combo for you and I to play with when we start our foot-based band?
Would we be called the Foot Clan? We do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We would call the Foot
songs.
Clan band.
If this was a bass,
those costumes would be really uncomfortable.
If this was
to
a
play
bass headstock, would you do make it a 5-string? Put one tuning peg on each toe?
Why not?
Yeah, dude, this is... I don't know. I don't know if putting it on a bass makes it any better.
Maybe it'd be fun in like a Bigfoot themed band.
I don't know. I just thought this was funny, and if I was trying to do something dumb, I feel like
if you were trying to do something dumb, this would definitely be a good place to start.
I feel like this would just go best on like some like weird like "Don't Worry, Be Happy" themed guitar, like where it's just a giant smiley face body and then like a foot.
Well, if this, what this needs? You need a second one, and you need a double neck guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then the body of the guitar is shaped like a butt. So you've got legs with feet coming out of a butt.
Do you think that's what this started as? Is maybe this was one of those necks? Because I've seen guitar bodies before where the body is like a person, and then it's a double neck, and it's just legs.
Yeah, maybe that's what
this is off of.
I think there's a Rick Nielsen guitar that's double neck.
Yeah.
That's like it's the legs of a guy.
Does that guy have shoes, or is it just feet?
I think it's shoes. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I think that concept is there. Maybe that's what the person had in mind, and they just never finished the project. This is super funky. Definitely like the right thing for the right themed band.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a band that needs this. But if someday we're going to hear about a band, it's like, wow, that's like the perfect band for that neck. I wonder if it's still around. But we'll be old men in a retirement home somewhere.
Right.
We won't be even to find the ad anymore because the internet crashed in the 2030s because of a big solar storm, and we're all living in the wasteland. But there's still a retirement home for some reason.
Weird.
I know, right? The post-apocalypse is relatively accommodating for senior citizens, apparently.
All right, let's take a hot second here to thank our sponsors. First, thanks to Gun Street guitar wiring shop.
Yeah, we should probably get the name of our sponsor, right? Yeah, big thanks to those guys. Go check out their wiring harnesses.
Gun Street Wiring Shop. That's all it is. GunStreetWiringShop.com.
If you're like me and you burn all your little fingers every time you resolder or rewire your entire guitar, I think the prices are worth it at this point. Like I said, I don't think I ever want to rewire my SG again. I'll gladly pay to just have someone else do it, and I'll drop it in, you know? So go check out everything they have to offer. They have wiring harnesses for all kinds of different guitars. Easy to check out the pricing and the options available. Options that you might not have even known existed.
Yeah. Also, big thanks to our other sponsor, Sinusoid. If today is Monday when you listen to this, then tomorrow you need to go over to sinusoid.com and check out their Tech Flex special of the day.
Yeah.
If today is Tuesday when you're listening to this, then you just need to go right now and do the same thing that I just said. So
I actually didn't realize that it was a Tuesday only thing. I noticed when they would publish it and be like, oh, there's another cool Tech Flex. Now that I know it's every Tuesday, I'm going to keep an eye out for it, and I might like share it around. And be like,
it definitely sounds like
check out Tech Flex Tuesday, guys.
Definitely sounds like it's Tuesday only. Maybe it's like Tuesday / as long as they last.
It happens every day that's a Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So this week's song was sent to us by Brian Gower from the band Playing Without a Pilot. He says, here's an oldie but a goodie called Cutting Ties, Cutting Losses. This one was recorded with a Fender Jazzmaster through a Fender Twin Reverb, layered with a Gibson Les Paul through an AC30, using a full-tone OCD pushing the front end. He said, I also used a Big Muff for the lead guitar and threw a Taylor 410 on the verse to spice it up.
Yeah, boy, spicy.
Kyle, the bass player, his tone really shines through with this mix, using a Fender USA Precision bass through an Ampeg Classic and 410 half stack. We also DI'd the bass out of a Sans amp for more grit. So check out these guys, playingwithoutapilot.com. Again, this song is called Cutting Ties, Cutting Losses. Have a good one.
Later.
Somebody else's hand to hold. Hope he never leaves your side, baby, never lets you go. Now that happiness has found you, hope your heart hasn't any doubts. No regrets, no pain, all the things you can do without. I really hope you aim true. Hope he treats you like a queen. He adores you like I do. So I'll send my best regards to inspire my tenacious pride. I'll piece together this shattered heart as I take it all in stride. Don't worry about me, I'll learn to let you go. Don't worry about me, this broken bitter soul. Just cutting ties, cutting losses, all I've ever known. Don't worry about me, I worked out so long ago. I'm saving all my days, chasing down that dream that I could do right by you, and baby, somehow be redeemed. Have you seen the ship I'm in? As my whole world's falling apart, I'll try to keep it together